cuffs are off, man.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I
What up, world? This is FishnFrank here with Get Right Fantasy Network, coming at you for another Monday night overreaction show, early waiver wire. Here we go. Let's get it started. How you guys doing this week? I hope you had a good week and your fantasy teams did pretty well this week. Only lost 2 games, but those 2 games are my home league, so that was kind of tough losses. I'm having a tough time right now with those 2 home leagues, but I think I just scored, I think the highest score of this season so far in one of our OG, the Get Right Fantasy Listener League, actually, not the OG one, the Get Right Fantasy Listener League. So what's up, guys? I just thought to hit you guys up with some of that news here. Who we got coming in here? Warrior Loft, and what's up, man? What's up, Warrior? Welcome back here. Week 6 here coming in. It was crazy game tonight. The Jaguars took it to the KC, got that win. I thought it was kind of weird ending that they just kept adding a little bit of time for KC, like every 2 seconds, get another second back for whatever reason. I'm not sure, but I'm glad they got the win. I mean, they ran it down, got that obvious pass interception call, get him one to go on the goal. And what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Trevor Lawrence, man, fell down. Got kind of getting stutter steps, getting back up, falling down, runs to the goal line, jumps in there, gets the TD, gets the go-ahead touchdown. That was a really good game here. Really exciting. I like that. I mean, it was some really good games this week. I'll kind of go over some of those things. Won quite a few underdog teams won this week. Nice. Those are good ones. So you go over and get some money on that. Let's see, what do we got coming in tonight? We're just kind of, go over the top waiver wire ads here a little bit. I'll just kind of react to week 5 news, some injury recaps, kind of give you a heads up on what's good injury weeks going on. We'll take a look at the top 6 waiver wire ads, or actually week 6 waiver wire ads by position at 65% owned or rostered or less. And then, just do some live Q&A. I'll do some live Q&A in between the show. Thank you for coming on, joining me here tonight. Let me give you guys some rundown of what we got going on during the week right here. On Tuesdays, we got Kendall coming in doing his show for the Extra Point. And so I know that he's looking for some players here coming in tomorrow for basically another live mock redraft. Basically looking at who you would draft now that the season started and the players are out there again. I think Emeka Buka would be going number 1 or at least up there. You know what I mean? So you got to look at that. We got Wednesdays buy, sell, trade show, roster management here with me. So we take a look at that. Friday, we got the 6 p.m. must start, sit start player previews on that. And then Sunday mornings, we got Mike coming in on the, active, inactive, sit start, and some casual DFS lineups. So please like and subscribe. Remember, turn on the notifications and keep up with all the content here at Get Right Fantasy Network. All the descriptions the links are in the description, so check those out for all the affiliates and direct channels. And then we're taking super chats, man. Anybody who wants to contribute to our show here and help us grow, please put in their super chat. We'll definitely get your question read and take more extra time on yours to kind of look at what we got for you. Let's get it started here for this week. Let's see what we got here coming in. Week 6 buys are coming in at Houston Texans and Minnesota Vikings. Some of the players that you'll see are going to be gone is CJ Stroud, who just had a really, really good week this week. Nico Collins. I know a lot of people got Nico Collins. Dalton Schultz, not so much, but Nick Chubb and Woody Marks. Nick Chubb did get the touchdown. I was starting Woody Marks, which kind of hurt me. I should have went with Rico Dowdle, who just blowing it up this week. And I had him in one of the leagues, and I probably should have put him in instead of Woody Marks. But I was just hoping that this guy would get the touches here. On the Viking side of the ball, you got J.J. McCarthy still out with Carson Wentz throwing the ball around here. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason doing the running right there. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, and some T.J. Hawkinson. So those are the guys that you guys are going to be looking to replace with those bye weeks. So let's look at the Thursday night matchup here. Coming up is going to be the 4-1 Eagles versus the 1-4 Giants. So the Eagles did take a loss. I was going to mention that here a little bit. And then we got a doubleheader again, another Monday night doubleheader, which I'm not a fan of. I like the single Monday night game. I don't know about you guys. How do you guys feel about that? I'm more of a, I don't know. I guess it gives me more time to get prepped for the show. Quite honestly, it's just so busy for me to be able to get prepped for this show that I prefer the Monday night game. I mean, it's kind of cool, but really it's just hard because you don't get to watch the full game. And I enjoy being able to at least watch the Thursday game completely, the Monday night game completely. And then you got to mix in what you're watching on Sundays, right? So you got to pick and choose. You're going to be able to, what games you're going to be paying attention to the most. But we got Bills at 4-1 versus the Falcons at 2-2. And then we got the Bears at 2-2 versus the Commanders at 3-2. So those are some nice matchups coming up here on Monday night. I got to turn off my phone. Give me a second here, guys. Let's sure to beep on me here, and so I can't have that around. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's see what else we got going on here. So here's some teams whose fortune has changed dramatically here. We got the Denver Broncos beating the Eagles 27-17. Now considered playoff worthy, I guess. The Broncos are doing a comeback win against the undefeated Eagles that have proven they can compete with the top teams. So let's take a look at that. What's up, Joe? Yeah. What's up, Joe? Yo. Warrior losses. Yeah, it's safe to drop Woody Marsh in a 10-team league. Yeah, I would say it would safe to drop him in a 10-team league. But I mean, if you have the room to hold him, maybe you can hold him. As long as Chubb is healthy, Woody will be a hit and miss at best. Yes. It's going to be hit and miss, definitely, for sure. So that's kind of tough. But Rico Dowdle's full go right now. It looks like Travis Chen, not Travis Chen, what's his name? His counterpart would be out for a little while. So we got New England Patriots beat the Bills 23-20. So that was a decent game here. I know the Bills getting their first loss as well. They basically earned major upset win over the Bills, who previously undefeated. Now being considered potential playoff team for New England Patriots. I've been talking about Drake May, and so he had a pretty good performance here. I hate to talk about the 49ers here, but they did win against the Rams 26-23 in OT, and they have a slew of injuries over there. So I don't know how they get so lucky, man. It's just incredibly lucky. They punched out the ball at the goal line. It was just kind of crazy. I don't know how they get that luck, but they have. We got Tennessee Titans beating the Cardinals 22-21. So they're winless at 0-4. They scored the first game of the season with a comeback win against the Cardinals. Rookie quarterback Cam Ward showed some potential. So it's going to be a long road to hoe for him. He did get to sit back and kind of learned a little bit. But nothing like don't get thrown in the fire and learn that way. Baltimore Ravens lost to the Texans, so again they're on the downward spiral right here with Lamar Jackson out, which I'll get to in a second about his injury. And then we got that Cam Ward pick that turned into interception that turned into a touchdown, which was the craziest play of this weekend. I hope you guys seen it. It was just pretty hilarious. You could almost see it in the blooper reels where it was like whoop whoop whoop. People getting the interception, fumbling it backwards this way, and then people are kicking it all the way around till the Tennessee guy falls out on the end zone, and it was a touchdown. He said, hello from my third shift. Hey, what's up, Joe Kingsley? Do you think the Patriots are for real? The next 3 games are the Titans, Browns, and Saints. Do you see them as a playoff team? I do see them as a playoff team. They'll have decent games against the Titans, tough game against the Browns defense, and a decent game against the Saints. So you got to take your wins where you can get them. But I do think that if they come out 2-1 out of that, maybe even 3-0 out of those games right there, it's going to propel them forward. So yeah, definitely I do see them as a playoff team going forward, and I think that they got plenty of potential and young players to carry them forward. Obviously barring injury and things like that, right? What else we got here? Okay, so let's look into the injuries here. A slew of injuries still going on. So I mentioned aforementioned Lamar Jackson. He's out week 5 with a hamstring, but he is expected to come back in week 6, but probably be limited in his rushing due to the hammy. So keep an eye out on that. See what monitor the practice reports and availability, as you may want to start Lamar Jackson when he gets back here. CeeDee Lamb as well. He's been out with that ankle injury, so he missed the 2nd straight game. But he looks like he has a chance to return to week 6. I'm happy to have him come back. I've had a couple offers for him, trade offers. I'm just holding on to him. I'm not getting up the number 1. No way. Just even the low ball offers I was getting. Omarion Hampton goes to IR with the ankle injury. So he'll miss at least 4 weeks. So we're looking at a couple of guys I'll mention later on here in the waiver wire ads. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. Darius Slayton, the wide receiver for the Giants, he's out with the hamstring. Left this week with the hamstring. He's going to face a short week Thursday night football in week 6, making a return doubtful. So it's the next man likely up is Jalen Hyatt. Not that I have him on a waiver wire pickup. Brock Bowers, though, tight end for the Raiders, also out for week 5, and his availability for week 6 against the Colts is uncertain. So it's not looking like he may not even play for week 6 either. Chuba Hubbard is out for week 5. So again, as you mentioned, Rico Dowdle did really good while Chuba Hubbard was out. That's who I was going to think of his name right now. So he just had a breakout performance. And I think that even when Chuba comes back, they got to give some touches to Rico Dowdle. They just got to, it's going to be a running back by committee going forward. And hopefully it helps out both of those guys. They could eat. Bucky Irving, still with the foot and shoulder out, remains sidelined week 6. Rashad White's role was, basically the lead back over there. Let's see, Kyler Murray was questionable with the foot. He left week 5 briefly with the foot injury, but he did come back. Let's see, Saquon Barkley is still questionable with the knee. He's a surprise addition to week 6 injury report. Tyrone Tracy still questionable with the shoulder injury. He's still limited on Monday's estimated practice report ahead of week 6. And Terry McLaurin looks like he might be coming back with the quadricep. He missed week 5, but Coach Dan Quinn is optimistic about his week 6 return. So yeah, those are your injury reports so far. So let's take a look at what we got here. We got Adam Pizzone. All right. Made a trade in my 10-team sleeper league. Traded away Kittle and Sutton for Jaden Daniels. My starting running backs are Bijan and Buck and White. Oh, that's good. He's got the handcuff. And my receivers are Amon-Ra, Collins, Odunze, and Flowers. Then make the right decision. Or QBs are almost 2 times points as normal leagues. Oh, so that's a big thing to know about that, because you're in the 10-man sleeper league and you traded away Kittle and Sutton for Jaden Daniels. Considering Kittle's hurt, I'm not sure when he's coming back. Sutton hasn't been doing too hot. I think he had a decent game. And they're on a bye now. I don't think it's bad. I like Jaden Daniels. He's a good running quarterback. He should have some good games going forward. He just had some early injuries, so keep an eye on him. But I don't think it's bad. You got a good wide receiving core with Amon-Ra, Collins, Odunze, and Flowers there. So and Bijan and Bucky, and since you have White, so you're basically starting whoever's healthy in Bucky or White. That's not a bad deal. Who do you have for tight end now, though? Now that you traded away Kittle, it seems like you were okay to trade away Sutton. Wondering who you have for tight end now. Yeah, but it looks like a good decision, man. Especially since your quarterbacks are getting 2 times the point. I was going to say I have Ibuka too. Nice. So yeah, if you have Ibuka, you could get rid of Sutton, no problem. Who's your tight end though? Who's your tight end? I want to know who you're replacing Kittle with, because that's a good piece right there. Kittle obviously was putting up some good numbers when he was healthy. I actually have his Jake Tungus. I have him. I'm not even sure if he's on my waiver wire. I should have definitely put him on there. He was putting up some really good numbers here now that Kittle's been down. He really helped me out on my guillotine league. So that guy's doing some really good numbers. So look up Jake Tungus there for the 49ers here in replacement of Kittle. At least while Kittle's out, because he's getting some really good numbers. Now it's time to pay some bills here, guys, a little bit. I just want to mention the Underdog Fantasy here. And it's the best place to play some best ball during the off season. That's where we do all draft tournaments. We do live streams of them off during the off season. Best ball leagues are just where you draft the team and that's it. There's no long-term commitment, no waiver wires, no trades, no weekly lineup settings. You just draft, hundreds of teams if you like, and you don't even have to do anything but manage those teams. Just wait to see if you could get some wins, and it really helps to let you know about the player values and ADP in the regular home draft leagues. But right now, they currently have the Play 5 Get 50 special going on. So if you sign up using the promo code Get Right, you play 5, you get 50 on the deposit match here. And I'm doing the pick'em contest that I really like. You simply pick higher or lower on the player stats, like total yards and touchdowns, and you can put a number of them in and get multipliers on those. So they're really great. So go visit Underdog Fantasy, the fastest growing app in your app store for best ball and pick'em contests today. So check them out. Support the Get Right Fantasy Network here with the promo code Get Right. Let's see what he said here. And Dalton Kincaid, okay, has been killing it for me. Yeah, he's been doing all right, man. I was kind of hoping, really good things for him in this opening rookie season. I didn't draft him this year. I went with Tyler Warren and Tucker Kraft this year, but I do like Dalton Kincaid a lot. And he's gonna pick another one just to be safe. I would do so as well. We got some waiver wire picks here this week. So listen in here. We're going to get to those here soon enough. As a matter of fact, now let's start up here with the waiver wire ads of the week. We're going to go ahead and start with the quarterbacks here that I got lined up. I'm going to mention Sam Darnold, the Seahawks. He's Yahoo's 31% owned. On ESPN, he's 14% owned. Last year, he was like the breakout quarterback. He completed 28 to 34 pass attempts, so 341 yards and 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he's emerged as a high-end streaming option with multiple TDs in 3 of the 5 games this season and strong performances overall. So definitely take a look at Sam Darnold, especially now that we're going into these bye weeks, or at least just somebody to hold on to. Jackson Dart here with the Giants, 39% rostered. He's off a solid rushing floor. Really, that guy's doing a lot of rushing, which adds to his weekly fantasy value. You're making him a viable QB2 or spot start again. More, a bye-week replacement type of guy. He's 26 to 40 through the air for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He also had 7 rushes for 55 yards. No touch on that. And then in week 4, he completed 13 to 20 for 111 yards and a touchdown. And he added 10 for 54 and 1 on the rushing. So there's the rushing upside that Jackson Dart offers. So if you're one of those type of leads there, you get the quarterback prime, like Adam here. He's one of those guys worth having. Give me a second, Joe. I'll get right to you. Let me get through these quarterbacks real quick. Then we got Bryce Young here. Panthers, 19% rostered. Preferred streaming option. He gets a favorable matchup against the Cowboys. He's given up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. I mean, the Cowboys have literally the number 1 offense and the number 32 defense. It's pretty sad, but it is what it is. But their defense did look better this last weekend. But Bryce Young completed 19 to 30 passes for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did through 1 interception and lost 1 fumble. So let's see what happens here against the Cowboys. I mean, it is a decent matchup. I ain't gonna lie about that. Michael Penix Jr. here, Falcons, 24% rostered. Penix showed improvement in week 4, and it could be built on performance of potentially high-scoring Bills. Offense completed 20 to 26 passes and looked at full control of the offense. Guy landed the season high 435 total yards. He connected Drake and Kyle Pitts when he was he's on the bye week, so he's coming back off that bye. So check him out. And lastly, we got Tua Tagovailoa. 30% rostered. He went 25 and 36 with 256 yards and 3 touchdowns with no turnovers. And he's played well over the last 2 starts. And maybe now that they got the Tromo, kind of out of the way with the Tyreek Hill situation, and they could kind of concentrate on what they're doing with their offense and really probably scheme some more plays for Waddle and everybody over there just to kind of get their ship right. I mean, their defense is still crap, but I mean, the offense can still run, and that's all that matters for fantasy, right? Let's check it out here. Joe Kingsley, he said, is Ravens defense worth holding on to? I would say no. If you recall last year, they started awful, and they have an easy schedule late at games versus Cleveland and Cincy, for example. Yeah, I mean, you could probably drop them and pick them back up, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how competitive your league is with defenses. I mean, I like a lot of guys that will stream a defense during the season, and there's no reason to hold them on to right now until they start looking better. But I mean, they're having their troubles right now, and they're literally on the downward spiral to Lamar and everything. He gets back on track. I wouldn't feel awful about dropping them and maybe picking them back up. I wouldn't carry 2 defenses, definitely not. I mean, unless you got a top defense and you need somebody to replace them for a bye, that's the only time I keep 2 defenses, and then I just drop that other bye week defense and keep my starting defense rolling, and that's it. Don't mess with that too much. But there's other guys that like to stream defenses and whatnot. I'm not one of those guys that just pick one, set it, and forget it. I'm always second guessing myself too much on other players versus just having to also mess around with my defense. But sometimes you do have to change it up because they got a bad matchup. They're going to get scored on a lot, and you just got to move away from your guys, basically, right? So let's look at the running back waiver wire ads here this week. Michael Carter, Cardinals, 39% rostered, and with the injuries to James Conner and Trey Benson, right? Carter taking over the clear lead back in Arizona with his workload, making him a priority ad. He played 55.4% of the Cardinals' offensive snaps in Week 5. He had a team high 18 carries for 51 yards and a touchdown against the Titans. And Carter led the backfield in the pass routes at 18 and had 5 catches for 22 yards. Now, the usage gap between Carter and Amari DeMarcado wasn't big enough, though. DeMarcado did himself no favors by lollygagging at the end of what it could have been a 72-yard touchdown. And basically, I don't know what's up with these guys that played a lot, get paid well enough to be able to hold the ball in through the end zone instead of just being nonchalant and then flipping the ball out. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but I mean, these guys need to hold on to the ball. That's just ridiculous. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they should definitely be holding on to the ball on through the touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, come on. That cost them a lot. I mean, it just changed the whole the game for them, and it would have been a go-ahead touchdown right there. But he did. He is 60 to 62% owned, so right around on that threshold. Everybody was picking up DeMarcado instead of Michael Carter here. He ran for 81 yards and 3 carries. So he had that one long run, not to score on Sunday. You know what I mean? He's the only running back not to score on Sunday for the Cardinals. So I think we're going to keep an eye on Michael Carter, pick him up. I know some guys probably got DeMarcado and want to run him up, but I mean, Michael Carter seems to be getting the bulk of the carries here, so you want to stick with that guy. Another muddled backfield here now with the Omarion Hampton injury. We got Kamadi Vidal, who's 0% rostered. I mean, literally nobody has him. And then when last year he was kind of a handcuff, but not this year so much. And then we also got Hassan Haskins, 1% rostered. So these guys weren't really being held. So Omarion Hampton did get placed on IR. And Vidal and Haskins are expected to split the backfield duties. Both look, though it would be a messy timeshare. It's the 6'1", 220-pound Haskins, the bigger than Vidal, but best bet to handle the goal line work. And then Vidal and Haskins, he played about 14 snaps in Week 5. Vidal had 4 of 18 rushing and one receiving targets, and Haskins had 5 of 13 rushing and 1 for 2 receiving targets on. And Haskins had us snap Vidal 14-2 before Week 5. So I'm not going to tell you which one guy to get, but I mean, both are obviously widely available. It's kind of pick your poison. I can't tell you who the coaches are saying one way or another to go with this guy or that guy. Yeah, that's right. You can't coach stupid. Exactly, man. I don't understand why these guys are doing, man. Right? Uh, as a Cardinals fan, I'm sorry you had to see that. Yeah, that's tough, bro. That's tough, man. That's I don't understand how the week before it actually happened too. I forgot what player did basically a similar thing, gets up to the goal line and just lets the ball go. I don't understand it. At least get in there and do a spike so that you know you're in the end zone. Spike the ball because you know you had it in your hand. You know you had the touchdown, and you're not just letting the ball go. So just I know coaches need to have a talk with these players and be like, don't let it go. Like bring it back with you. You should be holding on to that ball as a like souvenir or something. Who knows? So now we got another guy here coming in, Tyler Algier, man. The Falcons, 31% rostered. He's one of the most valuable handcuffs in fantasy. So anything happened to Bijan Robinson, if he were and miss any time, but he's already providing some fantasy value here, some standalone. He had 16 rushes for 51 yards and a touchdown, albeit very spotty. But Tyler Algier is definitely a high end handcuff to be having. So if he's out there, 31% rostered, definitely available for you to come get him. Another guy we talked about last week, Kenneth Gainwell, Steelers 36% rostered, coming off a monster Week 5 performance, and he's at least a valuable bench stash because if his counterpart misses any time, this Kenneth Gainwell could be starting here over there for the Steelers. He went 19-99 and two touchdowns with 6 of 35 receiving, and if Warren's out, it could be looking very well for him. I think they're probably coming back from this bye week. They might start splitting some carries. I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe give him some touches here. So we'll see what happens. They got a matchup against Minnesota, so maybe see some boost in usage here coming up. Another guy that I really like, Kendre Miller. I've been talking about him for a week or two here. 31% rostered. Miller is cutting into Kamara's workload, and he's a great stash and for potential for more touches. In Week 5, Miller played 39% of the snaps, had 10 of 41 rushing and 1 of 8 receiving. Miller led the Saints in rushing attempts, while Kamara played a season low 56.1% of the team's offensive snaps. So I think he led the team in the snap share this week. So they might be, it might be time to hand off the reins here to the new young buck and Kendre Miller. And it's time for Alvin Kamara to take a seat back. He's getting older. I love the guy. He won me a championship. I always say that. I'll never forget Kamara, dude. 5 touchdowns in the playoffs. You can't beat that. But there does come a time where Father Time catches up to all these guys. So, Kendre Miller, I think he definitely should be an ad, at least a handcuff at very least. If not, a high-end handcuff for somebody else here. Isaiah Davis here, New York Jets, 5.8% owned. Braylon Allen was placed on injury reserve. So this is going to be the next man up behind Brees Allen. So take a look at him. He's basically a handcuff as well. But, I know that Braylon Allen should be sidelined for 8 to 12 weeks. So it's pretty much this guy's, job next. And he probably obviously get some work in. Should anything happen to the starter, he's going to be the next man up here. Let's see who else we got here. Let me know if you guys got any more questions or comments. Love those. I'd like to be sharing with you guys because I'm coming up here. Let's get some Q&A going here. Let's talk wide receivers here. Let's see the number one here. We're looking at Kendrick Bourne for the 49ers, 4% rostered. With several 49ers receivers dealing with injuries, Bourne had a massive week. A solid play as long as other receivers are out. So, keep an eye out. If other guys are out, he caught 10 of 11 targets for 142 yards. So, I know that, Jawan Johnson, Sticky Ricky over there, Pearsall was down, and, just everything that's going on with the 49ers. This guy's getting some touches along with Jake Tungus, as I mentioned. I think he's not in there. Tight end list anymore because he's been, picked up enough that he's past the 65% threshold. Matter of fact, let me look at this up real quick since I'm talking about it. Let's see where he's at. I really like the guy. He's doing pretty good. And I was surprised that he didn't have more ownership right here. Let me see. Give me 1 second here, guys. And we'll get the numbers. Oh, yeah. He's only 4% owned on Yahoo, 5% owned on ESPN. I'll go ahead and move on to this guy. Jake Tungus caught 7-11 targets for 41 yards and a touchdown. 2 weeks in a row here with some really nice games. Now, Kittle being out, he's been, being the next man up, performing very well over there for the 49ers. He's been having an 11-point game and a 10-point game, and he's looking at Tampa Bay next week. And so the Mac Jones seems to be looking at him. Let's see what happens if he even play next week, because that dude looked like he was getting a broken back during that game. Let's get back to the wide receivers, though. Got sidetracked a little bit there. Troy Franklin, Broncos, 30% rostered. He's been a decent target share, and he's relatively good matchup against the Raiders. Franklin continues to receive steady targets in the Denver offense. He caught 3 of his 5 targets for 35 yards. Just steady Eddie Eaton a little bit. Not the greatest numbers, but he basically a touchdown dependent wide receiver, I believe here. Darnell Mooney here with the Falcons, 33% rostered. His role in the offense could get some more decent production, and he's worth a look in those deeper league stashes. He did come in late last year, and probably the same thing this year, where he's going to be one of those late ads for the season here and just really start performing well. Let's start to talk about Trey Tucker, man. He had that crazy blowout game a week or so ago. He had a solid week 5 here, where he had 4 or 6 targets for 62 yards. He did lead the team in receiving and was tied second for the day in the targets. So that alone is worth enough to be rostering this guy if he's leading the league in receiving and tied for second in targets there. That should produce some good numbers at some point. Obviously, the Raiders had a tough loss, but on a day where they actually having better performances, he should be able to give you some decent numbers coming up. Let's see. He has a. Would you pick up Ridley or Bourne? Ridley first, then Bourne. Yeah, Calvin Ridley first, then Bourne. But yeah, Bourne is more of again, if the other guys are out, you want to start Bourne. But I definitely pick up Calvin Ridley. Let's see what else do we got here. Where am I at? Sorry, guys. Alec Pierce here. Indianapolis, 3.5% owned. Pierce caught 4 passes for 68 yards and 67 yards in 2 games before his concussion. So Adonai Mitchell was the replacement a week ago, and he caught 3 passes for 96 yards. And Ashton Dunlin was his replacement this week, and he caught 2 passes for 55 yards, which means the Colts' ex-receiver has been averaging a 10.4 PPR points per game from receptions and receiving yards alone. So keep an eye on Alec Pierce coming up, and the Annapolis Colts are doing very well this year. I think they only got that 1 loss so far, so keep an eye on him. Christian Kirk here with wide receiver of Houston. He rostered Christian sits firmly in the fringe flex conversation. The weeks 4 targets to 64 yards. So in the deeper league kind of guys, the guys that need some of those bye week guys. I'll even mention Ryan Flournoy with the Cowboys. I'm not sure if I said his last name. Flournoy here. 0% rostered with the Dallas top receivers. He showed potential in week 5 with a deep league ad. Basically the deeper leagues here, 12 to 14 team leagues at minimum. When others return, he caught 6 to 9 for 114 yards. So obviously when others come back, he's not going to have the same role. Kind of the same thing with Kendrick Bourne, but who knows? Maybe that guy earned a spot over there with the 49ers, but let's see what happens. It's something to keep an eye on. Let's see. No worries, Warrior. No worries. That's what we're here for, man. Let's see. Tight end here. Tight end news. We got Mason Taylor. With the Jets 13% rostered. He's emerged as a reliable tight end option with a growing target share and solid recent production. Caught 9 of 12 targets for 67 yards. So he had a decent game there against the Cowboys there. Darren Waller, Dolphins, it's second game here. He's 67% owned on Yahoo, so he's above the threshold there, but only 48% on ESPN. So if you guys are ESPN people here, he had a strong week 5 and appears to be a good role in Miami's offense, giving him a tight end 1 potential. He turned 5 targets into 5 receptions for 78 yards and 4 touchdowns so far. So those touchdowns is what, just boosted his numbers. So I didn't think I'd say Darren Waller's a waiver wire pickup. I didn't want to believe it after week 1, but it happened again second week out. So he might be worth a shot. If you're, looking for a tight end and waiver, streaming somebody might be the guy to take a chance on here. You might have missed out on the touchdown train though. We got AJ Barner here, Seattle Seahawks, less than 5% owned. He's been heavily involved in the red zone with a high upside touchdown dependent stream. He caught seven passes, 53 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So again, basically touchdown dependent there with the Seattle Seahawks. We got Theo Johnson with the New York Giants, 11% owned. Johnson's become a red zone weapon for Jackson Dart. There's his quarterback. His volume has increased. He caught 6 to 7 targets for 33 yards and 2 touchdowns. So another guy here with, getting, the rookie quarterback. They always, seem to use a lot of their tight ends. So he's a good option there to be having because, Jackson Dart will be getting the starts here. Brenton Strange, I was going to mention him at 49% rostered, but he did get injured in tonight's game. I'm not sure what happened. So, early injury. So he was out of the game. So his numbers are in flux right now. And the last guy I do want to mention here is Taysom Hill, the New Orleans Saints, 7.1% owned here. Kind of hurt Jawan Johnson and everybody over there. He just didn't have a good outing coming back, but he's worth keeping an eye on. Taysom Hill is a Swiss Army knife of a type of a guy. So he's worth somebody to keep an eye on, man. So those are the waiver wire ads of the week. I know quite a few. I mean, we went over a bunch of stuff here tonight. Let me know if you guys got any other questions, any comments here in the chat. I got a couple of guys still here. Let me know what's going on. If you guys got any questions, I'll hold on for you for a second, kind of recap a little bit of what we had here. Obviously, again, that Cam Ward and just getting interception, fumble, touchdown situation that he had. Denver beating the Eagles, so they're not undefeated anymore. New England beats the Patriots, so that was a big win for them. Titans beat the Cardinals, so they were 0-4, so they finally got their victory in there. So yeah, we got the Ravens, on the downward spiral here. Hopefully Lamar gets back and straightened out that ship. And just some tough things going on around the league. Hopefully CD's coming back here this next week. We hopefully get him back. I mean, we lost Omarion Hampton. That's a big loss here. He was throwing up some great numbers. Maybe Brock Bowers would come back, but it doesn't look too good. And again, Chuba Hubbard out, and Rico Dowdle just kind of shining there. I know that Zamir White there for Bucky Irving out did Rashad White. I mean, not Zamir White. Rashad White did a really good job over there as well. So those are the highlights there. And as I mentioned, we want to look at Sam Darnold and Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart mostly for his rushing upside, but Sam Darnold seems like he's coming back to his old self as he did last year. Running backs, you want to look at Michael Carter. Pick your poison with Kamani Vidal or Hassan Haskins. I'm not going to tell you which one there. And Kenneth Gainwell, we want to keep an eye on, as well as Kendre Miller. Those are the top ones right there for running back. A wide receiver, we're looking at Kendrick Bourne, again, depending on how many other 49er wide receivers are out. Troy Franklin with some, WR3 numbers. Darnell Mooney, again, going to keep an eye on him. Trey Tucker seems to be getting at least wide receiver 2 numbers, wide receiver 3 numbers, depending on the week. And Alec Pierce coming back as well. So keep an eye on those guys. And then we're going to repack here with Mason Taylor, AJ Barner, and Theo Johnson to some of the better waiver wire ads for the week. And just taking your shot at with Darren Waller and Brenton Strange. So keep an eye on these guys. And these are the waiver wire ads of the week. And let's see, we got David here coming in here. I want Bill. Is it crazy to trade Kittle or Pearsall for him? I got Waller right now and can add Mason Taylor. If I trade Kittle, wide receivers I got are JSN, Pickens, and Matthew Golden. So I can lose Pearsall. What do you think? I tried trading. Let me see what else he says. I tried trading Chase Brown for him, but he declined the trade, so he probably thinks high of Bill. And now Bill popped off, so it probably gonna got offer Kittle or more. Yeah, that's the problem. Man. Had you got him before he popped off, because he had that down week, you could have got Bill. You could have not paid as much. Now that he's popped off, who do you have besides Kittle? I wonder who your other one. I guess that's Waller. So you got Waller instead of Kittle there, and you can add Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor would be a good add. I got Jason Pickens and Matthew Golden here. So lose Pearsall. What do you think? Can't lose Pearsall. Yeah, see if you could send Pearsall that way. With Jason and Pickens, you should be okay. I mean, Golden's a decent third. So see what's going on with that. I don't think it's crazy to trade Kittle or Pearsall for Bill. I mean, who are your running backs, though? I'd like to see who else you have in running back there. Also, pre-fishing questions, if it's a 10-team, 12-team, standard PPR scoring, what's going on with that? What up, Sean? What are you doing, man? You got any questions here for me? We're almost ending the show here, but I'm waiting on David and Ella here to give me a response. I'd like to see who else he has for running back here, because he's going after Bill. So yeah, we had a crazy week. And this ending here for the Monday night game was great. I like seeing KC lose. I still don't understand why they kept putting a couple seconds back on. It's almost like they wanted to give Mahomes a chance to get that field goal in to tie the game and go for another overtime game. But there's been plenty of overtime games this season. I don't need to see another one. But they do really help in fantasy, man. You're getting those added fantasy points here for having something like that happen. So, oh yeah, so I'm just tuning in, about to sub up. That's what's up, man. Had a great week. Good looking out, man. I'm glad you did. I had a great week also. I'm waiting to hear on that. Appreciate the sub, man, though. Thank you very much. Here's the Smitty here. The Smitty is I'm 1-4, 2 QB, super flex, PPR. QBs are Daniels and Purdy, Mac Jones, and Gabriel and Rattler. And these running backs are Henderson, Monty, Rashad White, Marks, and tight ends is Waller and Kittle. And we got wide receivers are Nico, DK, Jennings, Rashee Rice, and Luke McCaffrey. Nice. Would you trade Rattler for Scatterboo? That's a good question. I think I would. I mean, because right now, Scatterboo's getting the start. We'll see what happens when Tyrone Tracy gets back. But I mean, he had 59 yards and 15 attempts and he caught 6 to 7 targets with 45 yards. So those are good numbers, man. And I know Spencer Rattler's, this is being a 2 QB league, but I mean, you still got you got your handcuff to Purdy and Mac Jones, and you got Gabriel. We'll see what he pans out to be, but you're going to be starting Daniels or Mac Jones or Purdy, and you only need a bye week kind of guy, so you can move on Spencer Rattler, and I'd move on him if I could to get Scatterboo. Yeah, I think I would do it. I just talked myself into that. You got Chuba and Dowdle. Should I sell high? If you can. I mean, why not? You could sell Dowdle and probably get quite a bit for him, but he's going to be a handcuff. Hopefully, going the rest of the way, and let's see if Chuba comes back right away. But I think you definitely can sell high on Dowdle right now. David Ellis said, "I got CMC, Achane, Javonte, and Chase Brown half PPR 2 flex leagues, so I can start up to 4 running backs. I went running back heavy first 3 rounds, but Chase Brown has been disappointing." Yeah, I have Chase Brown. I have him on the bench. He's just been garbage. So let's look at what you're trying to trade for, and that's why you're trying to get Bill. So yeah, I definitely move Bill. If you got to trade Kittle or Pearsall for him, I'd probably trade Pearsall because it looks like he got a decent wide receiving core to withstand that. I'm not sure how much Waller's going to be. That Darren Waller or the other Waller that I'm thinking about? Because hold on a second. Yeah, I'm thinking Darren Waller there. So yeah, I would keep Kittle. Move on Pearsall and see if you could get Bill for Pearsall. And see how you're doing there. Let's see what else we got here. Rattler would get rattled versus my Patriots. Nice. I like that. I need a running back. What trades would you suggest on the Smitty? Let's see. Let's take a look at that. I like that Rattler for Scatterboo. Without knowing who you're out there with, though. You got Henderson and Monty, Rashad White, and Marks. Woody Marks he's just a handcuff at this point. I was just talking about him. I started him. He was a dud. I should have started Dowdle in that one league I had started him in 2 or 3 other leagues. I should have went with Dowdle again. But you got Nico, DK, Jennings, Rashee Rice, and Luke McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey's been having some decent games as of late too, as well. I would try to package them because you're going to get Rashee Rice here coming back week 6 coming up here. So we're coming up. So this be the last week of his suspension. So that'll fire up your wide receiving core. So at this point, I would be looking to try to see if you can move on your wide receivers. Maybe Jennings, being that he's hurt anyways, and see if you could get anything for him or a combo package to get another running back there. But Henderson and Amadi are decent. Amadi, I know that he was at that home game turf and he had to get his touchdown in. Rashad White, is just filling in right now. So I'd definitely be moving on Jennings and even maybe Luke to try to package somebody so you could get another running backs. Also see who's available out there. Smoking the Cat. What's up, man? Should I start CMC, Achan, GSN, Pickens, and Flex, or Javonte and Chase Brown? I start CMC, Achan, GSN, and Pickens, and Flex Javonte and Chase Brown. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Dolphins, Waller. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I like that. I just wouldn't be starting Chase Brown. Because he's if you're getting some flex numbers out of him, he's definitely not an RB1 as he was drafted as. You know what I mean? Like I was really high on Chase Brown last year. He had really good numbers on that. The whole Cincinnati team is just down in the dumps. They finally had a decent game there. I'm almost willing to move on like T. Higgins and whatnot over there. You've got to keep Chase, but you got to maybe sell high on what you can on there. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, any other questions here before we close it out? Kind of went over everything here. Appreciate you guys being here with me. As I always mention, come check out our guys here. If you want to help us out with Trophy Smack, there's another sponsor of the show here. They do have all the chains and things like that. They got the rings they got over there. They got the swag chains. They got the belts and the trophies. And right now is a good time to tell your league mates to throw in and get you guys self a ring here like we gave away for 1,000 subscribers. Trophy Smack, use code GetRight to help out, support the channel. Always our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. I love doing the pick'ems right now with them, so check them out. Let's see what else we got. One more here. I had one more. Give it to me. Give me one more. Let's see what we got. Mohammed said, would you trade Diggs for Bill? I have Arashi, Puka, and Ridley as wide receivers. Charb, Devonta Henry, and Chuba as running back. So Chuba just got hurt. Charbonnet's good though. Actually, right. If we trade Diggs for Bill, yeah, I would. Diggs had a really good game this week, and you're basically selling high on him. And let's see how Bill continues to do. So I think you're getting just as high a risk for that guy, and that would be a good deal right there. Would you trade for Jalen Warren? Nah, not really. He might be in a time search situation now. With a waiver wire ad here, in Kenneth Gainwell, and with the injury, kind of makes me concerned. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not too high on Jalen Warren right this second, just because Gainwell just came out and just tore it up. And I think they might do some more, running back by committee at this point. So I'll be looking at a different running back. Who else you got out there? See what we got. But I mean, obviously, if you need somebody, which you kind of do, you want. I just wouldn't give, don't give the farm away, right? So yeah, come back on Wednesday. It's going to be our buy sell trade show, and we'll definitely just be concentrating on trades and who we'll be looking at sell high, buy low on, things like that, some targets like that, and I'll have more options for you then. So check me out on Wednesday at the Smitty. Check it out. So anyways, guys, appreciate you guys being here with me. Love the chat. Great content tonight. Check out, the waiver wire ads here. I'll start creating the short here in a little bit. And see you guys on Wednesday. So let me see. We got to set up the outro video here. So peace out, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. Have a good night.
White fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up.